What if the answer to your deepest questions could only be found by leaving everything behind? In 1223, a young Japanese monk named Dōgen stepped aboard a ship bound for China, determined to resolve a spiritual dilemma that had haunted him for years. Raised amid the rituals of Kyoto's elite temples, Dōgen was tormented by a simple but profound puzzle. If all beings possess Buddha nature, why must we strive so hard for awakening? The chants and ceremonies of his homeland offered no satisfying reply. And so, defying comfort and expectation, he ventured across the sea in search of clarity. Born in 1200 into a noble family, Dōgen knew sorrow early. His mother died when he was still a child, and her parting words urged him to seek the truth beyond worldly attachments. This loss, more than any formal teaching, ignited his pursuit of spiritual understanding. Orphaned and restless, he entered the monastic life as a boy, dedicating himself to study under the most respected masters of his time. Yet despite years of devotion, the question of effort and enlightenment remained unanswered. Frustrated by the theoretical debates and ritual formalities of Japanese Buddhism, Dōgen felt that something essential was missing. He longed for a practice that went beyond words, a direct lived experience of the truth. This longing drove him across perilous waters to the Song dynasty of China, where Zen Buddhism, known there as Chan, had developed into a distinct and vibrant tradition. It was at the Jingde Monastery on Mount Tiantong that Dōgen met the teacher who would change the course of his life, Tiantong Rujing. Far from being a distant, aloof master, Rujing embodied a kind of fierce compassion. His instructions were not designed to impress or mystify. They were sharp, clear, and uncompromising. During one early morning meditation session, Rujing called out to the monks, urging them to drop off body and mind. These words were not philosophical abstractions. They were a command to release every layer of clinging, every ounce of self-identification. For Dōgen, these words struck like lightning. They sliced through the fog of uncertainty that had followed him for so long. Here, at last, was an approach that didn't require elaborate doctrines or metaphysical claims. Enlightenment was not something to be attained through striving, but something realized through letting go. It was not found in theory, but in the simple act of sitting upright, breathing and being fully present, what would come to be known as zazen, or seated meditation. This awakening was not sudden in the sense of a single emotional burst, but it marked the end of seeking outside himself. Under Rujing's guidance, Dōgen practiced day after day, embodying this teaching of shedding attachment to both physical form and mental constructions. His time at Mount Tiantong forged not only his understanding of Zen, but his resolve to reshape Buddhist practice back home. When Dōgen returned to Japan in 1227, he did not simply carry back exotic knowledge or foreign customs. He returned with a fierce commitment to what he called Shikantaza, just sitting. This approach rejected reliance on sutras, ceremonies, or intellectual analysis as the primary means of awakening. Instead, it invited practitioners into the immediacy of the present, where awakening is not a goal, but the expression of life itself. At first, Dōgen's ideas met resistance. Kyoto's religious scene was dominated by sects entangled with imperial politics, where status and hierarchy often overshadowed spiritual depth. Rather than compete for influence, Dōgen chose isolation. In 1243, he established Eihei-ji, a remote monastery nestled in the mountains of Eihei-ji, far from the noise of court life. Here, amid mist-covered pines and quiet streams, he emphasized simplicity, precision, and the wholehearted practice of zazen. Daily life at Eihei-ji was rigorous but not austere for its own sake. Dōgen taught that even the most ordinary tasks, washing vegetables, folding robes, lighting lanterns, were opportunities for mindful engagement. He wrote extensively about the role of the cook, elevating the kitchen to a place of spiritual training, where preparing rice with care was no less sacred than chanting sutras. His writings, especially the Shobogenzo, a remarkable collection of nearly 100 essays, offered bold reflections on existence, time, and practice. One of his most striking insights was the idea that time and being are not separate. In his words, time itself is being, and all being is time. For Dōgen, each moment is complete, not a mere point along a timeline, but a full expression of existence. This vision challenged prevailing notions of enlightenment as a distant state achieved after arduous striving. Instead, Dōgen insisted that awakening reveals itself through dedicated practice, in this very moment, through this very breath. His approach also questioned the sharp divisions between sacred and mundane. Rather than confining awakening to monasteries or mountain hermitages, he encouraged an attitude of presence that could infuse every act, whether chanting sutras or scrubbing floors. In doing so, Dōgen quietly but powerfully redefined what it meant to live a spiritual life. Yet his path was not without obstacles. Many within the Buddhist establishment rejected his emphasis on seated meditation as overly simplistic or even heretical. Political isolation, financial struggles, and illness marked his later years. But through it all, Dōgen remained steady, his writings growing deeper and more refined as he continued to explore the nature of reality through practice. On September 22nd, 1253, at the age of 53, Dōgen passed away. He left behind not temples adorned with gold, nor grand displays of power, but words and practices that continue to shape Zen Buddhism across the world, a quiet invitation to sit down, let go, and meet life exactly as it is.